Good evening, everyone. Although we are a small group, we are gathered tonight to hear the presentation of the 22-23 school budget. I'm Jeff Simons, school superintendent. I want to welcome those of you who are participating on the live stream, and of course our group that is participating here from the district on the Google Meet. First, I want to introduce our board president, Mike Buno, our board member, Joanne Taylor, our Director of Business and Finance, Linda Wagger, and Mike Harkin, who is our Columbia High School principal. And in the background, we have Wayne Morrow, who is one of our network technicians, making sure that all of this technology works correctly. We have been working on the school budget with our board, our administrators, our teachers and faculty and staff and community really since December. We're pleased to be able to present a budget to you this evening that is preserving all of our programs, both academic and extracurricular. And for the second consecutive year, we're able to use additional state aid as well as federal support to offer the community a budget with a 0% impact on the local tax levy. So I'm going to share my screen and begin the presentation. As we put together the budget for next school year, we are mindful of the need to continue the academic success of our school district. Additionally, we have worked very diligently to balance our projected expenses and our projected revenues. And as we do that, we keep in mind the priorities of our Board of Education, which are refined each year through a process in which the board and the administration make sure that we review our goals and we can identify those targeted areas that we want to continue to address within our school district. So the financial plan that we present this evening is aligned with our Board of Education's priorities, which reflect the need to continue to maintain a safe, engaging school environment and a positive experience that supports diversity, equity, and inclusion within our schools. We want all students, all faculty and staff, all parents and visitors to feel welcome and to be successful within our school community. Additionally, the resources that we've included within the budget ensure that we are able to recruit, hire, and retain, as well as provide professional development to the best quality staff that we can offer our students, including in both leadership areas, teaching, as well as in instructional support. Our budget reflects the need to invest in our people to continue to provide quality services to our students. Additionally, we're always trying to be progressive as a school district, to innovate, to make sure that the curriculum that we offer our students, reflected by the courses and the experiences of the students, provide pathways for all students. For those students who want to go on after high school to pursue a 2-year or a 4-year degree, for those students that want to enter right into the workforce, and for those students who join the military or want to pursue a field of career and technical work, including moving into positions within the trades. There's been a concerted effort on the part of our district with the direction of the board to make sure that there are pathways for all students, pathways that we begin sometimes as early as the elementary school level. Additionally, we want to continue the positive relationships and partnerships that we've developed within the community. We are grateful for the support of our parent-teacher organizations. I don't know what we would do without the extra support and the guidance and all of the activities that the PTOs provide for our schools. We also have many strong partners in terms of our towns, as well as the local colleges and business community. So these are the priorities of the board. The budget that we present this evening reflects those priorities. I want to start off with some of our success, because the budget is a reflection of our success as a school district. Most recently, the Best of the Capital Region contest sponsored by the Times Union announced that East Greenbush Central School District was ranked number one in terms of the best school district within our community. We know that that is a measure of our community support for our school district. We're very appreciative of the fact that so many people responded to this opportunity to let us know that you support our school district and you feel that we are doing a good job. We don't take that for granted. In our budget, we always strive to improve, to make adjustments to our programs, to build support where we need it. Again, to make sure that every child is served well within our district, and also that we are accepting not only the positive feedback that we receive from the community, but the areas in which the community would like to see our district continue to grow and improve. In accordance with New York State Education Department determinations under the Every Student Succeeds Act, our district schools are considered to be in good standing. Each of our elementary schools, Goff Middle School and Columbia High School, exceed state measures. Our percentage of students that are performing proficiently on English language arts tests, mathematics tests, Regents examinations, as well as other indicators such as graduation rate, far exceed the New York State average. I think that not only do we have strong teachers and strong school leaders, but we have an emphasis on engagement. And you can see the students engaged and working in fun, innovative ways with our teachers here in this slide. Additionally, we've had many teachers this year who've been recognized for special recognitions on a regional, state, and local basis. Not only have we had 2 teachers selected by Channel News 13 as a top teacher of the week, we also have Sue Schreck, who is an East Greenbush teacher. She teaches at Green Meadow, teaches the 5th grade, who has been honored and selected into the New York State Master Teacher Program, which is a rigorous program which requires an extensive application as well as significant work in collaborating with other teachers around the state, participating in professional growth opportunities and experiences. This year, New York State announced that Columbia High School's graduation rate was 98%. It is the second highest graduation rate of all of the districts within the capital region. We recognize that that graduation rate is not only a reflection of the quality of the staff and the instruction that is received at Columbia High School, but is a reflection of all of the work from all of our teachers, our support staff, our families, our board and administration, working together to make this a strong educational community. From the time those children enter kindergarten to the time they graduate from high school and cross the graduation stage, we try to surround our students with the support they need to achieve and to be successful. I mentioned Channel 13 top teachers. So far this year, we'll have another one coming soon. As I understand it, we have honored 2 teachers from Columbia High School, Emily Chatraw, who was an English teacher, and Val Gordon, who was an art teacher, who've been recognized this year as Channel 13 top teachers. This is an expression of all of the excellence that our teaching staff tries to provide on a daily basis. And I would be remiss if I did not mention that this week is Teacher Appreciation Week, and we certainly appreciate all of the work in providing excellence from our teachers. And again, special recognitions for Val and Emily. We invest in our teachers. We invest in professional development. We want to make sure that the teachers have what they need in terms of the instructional resources to be as successful as they are. And our budget reflects the investment of fiscal resources in our human resources. Additionally, we were concerned about the impact of last year, particularly as we had to operate our schools within a hybrid model in order to comply with the regulations regarding Department of Health specifications for social distancing and classroom arrangements. We were concerned as students were coming back to full in-person learning this year that we do everything we can to make sure that our students bounce back, that we measure the reading and math growth experience, particularly of our youngest children, Our board invested some of the federal resources in hiring new intervention teachers who are working with our kindergarten through third grade students. We've invested in new reading approaches, including a new assessment. And we are happy to report to the community that at the mid-year point in the school year, we were able to tell our board that our kids are making remarkable progress in terms of the number of children reading at or above grade level and performing in mathematics at or above grade level. We also have many successful extracurricular or co-curricular programs in the district, and this is just one of several examples. Congratulations to our Goff Science Olympiad team under the direction of Ms. Donna Marie Vlieg, who unfortunately is retiring this year, but she has done a great job not only in the classroom, but supporting the success of our middle school science Olympiad team. Our team placed third this year in the New York State Finals. So we have lots to be proud of. In the area of arts, the teachers within our art department will tell us that this year, more than any other year, we've had more students selected to have their artwork featured in regional and statewide competitive exhibits. This is just one example where artwork from the Goff Middle School students was featured down at the Empire State Plaza's 13th annual art exhibit. We also have an outstanding music and drama program. And if anyone saw the Columbia Players' performance of Little Women several weeks ago, you would think that you were in New York City watching a Broadway show. The talents, the dedication of the students that both performed in that performance, but also participated in the stage crew, helped and assist with the planning of that. And I want to particularly thank the teachers that were involved in coordinating and those rehearsals. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours on the part of everybody to put together such a successful stage production. So congratulations to the Columbia Players and everybody affiliated with the Columbia Players for highlighting the importance of the arts, both the visual arts and the performing arts, as we continue to emphasize a well-rounded, rich experience for our students. Additionally, we're proud that we are able to engage and support our community. We have a fantastic community within the East Greenbush School District. Each and every year, we take time out from the emphasis on academics to recognize those members of our community who have given us their service in the military and their sacrifices. And we are so grateful for our veterans. And I've heard from a number of community members that they really appreciate the fact that the schools take time to recognize the importance of the contribution of our veterans through the Veterans Day parades, various Veterans Days assemblies that go on in the schools. And I want to thank the East Greenbush Teachers Association for gathering their members and some students on a day off from school to go out and rake leaves for our veterans who are members of our community. This is just one example of what we try to do to say thanks to the community for their support, but also to continue to foster partnerships and let the community know that we value what they do or have done for us. Additionally, there are many, really hundreds of activities that go on every year to get our students to recognize the importance of giving back to the community, of helping a neighbor, of reaching out and doing something for someone in need. This particular year, as we all watched the news of what was happening in Ukraine, we wanted to do something. And so our student council at Goff Middle School joined members of our Global Education Committee to organize a Stuff a Bus for Ukraine. Thousands of donations from the community of medical supplies and first aid supplies for people who have been impacted by the war in Ukraine. That particular event not only stuffed one bus, but we stuffed two. We had to get an extra driver and a bus that day to deliver all of the goods up to the St. Nicholas Ukrainian Church in Waterville. And we had a special guest show up at our event, Governor Hochul, who made a donation, and it was very nice for the kids to see that the governor took time out to honor what they were doing in terms of service to not only the community, but to the world. Additionally, there are many examples of things that our kids and our teachers and our parents do for the community. Just some small examples: the Goff students baking cookies to donate to the Nassau Resource Center. And we had a Super Bowl food drive at the elementary school level, which was a collection of canned goods to, again, make sure that our community knows that we want to help those families and community members that are in need, but also we promote service among our students. Additionally, extracurricular programs such as the arts, which we mentioned, and some of the clubs which you mentioned. We also have a very successful athletic program with our athletic director, who will be retiring in September, being recognized this year as Chapter 2 Athletic Director of the Year by the New York State Athletic Administrators Association. And Mr. Leonard has served the district for many, many years to build up an athletic program that has 44 sectional titles and 6 state championships. Each year since 2013, our students have been recognized by the New York State Public High School Athletic Association for the Sportsmanship Award, which represents the good character that our students show on our courts, on our fields, on our track, but also the numerous service projects that are promoted, coordinated by our coaches, by our athletic director, and our families to help the community that involve our student athletes. Additionally, 22 of our varsity athletic program teams had a grade point average of 90% or better during the 2020-21 school year. So we can boast of an athletic program that is an integral part of our academic program with the academic success experienced by our student athletes. As we transition to talking about the numbers, it's very important for the community to understand that our board, our district administration, is mindful of the tax cap. New York State has a very specific formula that varies by each district regarding how much the board can raise the local tax levy without seeking a supermajority vote. And this graph reflects the fact that each year and every year since we've had a tax cap, our board has kept its budget proposal under what was permissible from New York State, with the blue graph representing what New York State said we could do in terms of raising the tax levy and what the actual budget did in terms of the local budget being approved by our Board of Education. I'm really proud of the fact, and I want to thank our Director of Business and Finance, Linda Wager, for the work that she did on our budget. I'm proud of the fact that this year, going into next year, and last year coming into this year, we were able to use additional state aid received from New York State to maintain all of our programs, and in fact, in some ways, add a little extra support for the kids, but keep the tax levy at a 0% increase. So next year, the budget, if approved, will not raise taxes at the local level to continue moving our programs forward. As we look at the revenue side of the budget, we receive the majority of our revenue through the local tax levy at an estimate of about $58.37 million. We also receive revenues from various businesses that have received payment in lieu of taxes agreements, referred to as pilots. These are arrangements that are approved by the Rensselaer County Industrial Development Agency that permit the reduction of taxes and substitute a payment schedule for those particular properties to promote job growth and job retention. The largest source of those pilot payments is Regeneron, which represents about half of the $6.7 million in pilot revenues. This year and last year, we've been able to say that the state has made adjustments to its program of providing state aid. Our state aid is back on schedule to receive the amount of foundation aid that the law requires The state is making a concerted effort to make sure that by the end of next year, we will be receiving the full formula amount of state aid that New York State formulas indicate we should be receiving. You may recall that in years past, we've talked about the fact that East Greenbush was not receiving its fair share of state aid. We can say that both last year and this year that we are. We're very pleased by that, and we're using those monies to keep the tax levy at zero and also to maintain our programs. So our revenues balance out at 104 million. 0.8. We are also utilizing monies that have been set aside in our fund balance to allocate approximately $6.8 million to ensure that the budget is balanced, but also to make sure that we are not having to raise the local levy. On the expenditures side of the budget, the largest portion of a school district's expenditures are associated with personnel costs, salaries, and benefits, with about $53.2 million of the budget related to our administrative, instructional, and non-instructional salaries. We are a people business. About 76% of the budget is in the people that serve the children and provide the instruction and support. We also have within our budget this year, as part of our textbook adoption plan, we have plans to continue to make sure that we are utilizing state textbook aid to make sure that the kids are receiving instruction that is based on current resources that are available. And there's a process through our curriculum committees to make sure that we are continually updating our instructional resources. We also participate in Questar BOCES. We have more students who are attending career and technical education programs. And we also utilize services, administrative services through Questar, which is a cost sharing that we do with other districts as a component district. Because the East Greenbush enrollment is relatively stable in combination with the fact that our property values in the East Greenbush School District have increased at the fastest, the most within Rensselaer County, the formula indicates that we'll be paying approximately $6.4 million in for BOCES services, but we'll also be receiving back revenues in the following year's budget in the form of BOCES aid. All in all, the budget has also included some additional services and supports. We're going to add a special education life skills class at the high school based on student needs. Additionally, we currently have a part-time librarian service being provided through Questar at Belltop. Our plan is to increase that position to be a district position full-time to bring that library comparable to the other elementary schools. We have a growing population of students that require English as a new language service. Those elementary students are currently located at Janae, at Goff Middle School. The middle school students are located in at Columbia High School. The expansion of that program based on student needs requires an additional staff member who is certified in English as a new language. Additionally, based on enrollment, there's a slight increase in the FTEs for social studies at the middle school. We're adding 3 assistant varsity coaches to help with our athletic program in girls field hockey, boys and girls cross country, and wrestling. We also are adding a modified 9 cross country offering to give our freshmen and some other students an opportunity to compete separately, to be coached separately. We're adding some staff, a staff member to support the human resources office, and we're replacing a position in our data and technology department, which has been vacant since October. We're also looking at some technology that will enable communication with our families to be enhanced. There's a program called Parent Square that we're looking at that might streamline the number of different messages and mediums through which parents are receiving information into one platform. It'll also enable information to be shared with parents at the teacher level, at the building level, and at the district level. in a fairly seamless manner. Additionally, we are upgrading some of our student information system services through a cloud hosting format of what we call Power School. That's the information that we use to manage student demographic information, student grades, different types of reports about the students, so that we can access that information through not only our own workstations, but through mobile devices when necessary. We have a small increase in furniture needs and equipment needs, and we're also equipping our buses with new technology, including a new system that will enable us to electronically track the ridership of our students on the bus, and also a program that will enable parents to look on their device and see where the bus is. And we're very excited about that. We think that that will be a great service to our families. Each year for the last several years, our district has asked the community to support the purchase of new, more efficient buses to replace older, more high mileage buses, which are traded in by the district. And the community approved the establishment of a transportation reserve. This is a mechanism by which, through community approval and board approval, we can set aside any additional monies that we may have to a dedicated fund for the sole purpose of purchasing new buses. We save on the borrowing costs by utilizing monies out of the reserve. We no longer have to pay the principal and interest when we take the monies out of the reserves rather than borrowing. We're proposing to purchase 8 buses at a cost of $752,468 out of the bus reserve. 67.9% of the money that we spend on buses is replenished to the district's reserve through state transportation aid. So about 68 cents of every dollar we take out of the reserve to buy a new bus goes back into the reserve in the form of our payment from the state that comes in the transportation aid category. So we continually try to reserve those monies and place additional monies into the reserve where necessary. This year on the ballot, the community will see a new item. This is a capital reserve fund. This fund functions very similar to the transportation reserve, although it is a fund that permits the school board and the community to set aside any additional monies for the purposes of defraying the costs of construction, reconstruction, and any associated work with a future capital project. The fund is a way to make sure that as we propose a new capital project to the community in future years, we will have some resources available to reduce the amount of borrowing associated with that capital project. Typically, that borrowing is reflected in the annual budget in terms of our debt service payments, interest, and principal. So if the community approves this reserve, the board is authorized to fund that reserve up to $5 million over a 10-year period. The funding of the reserve requires the Board of Education approval. The expenditure of the reserve also requires voter approval. So in the future, when we come to the community with a capital project, we would be able to say to the community, we want to take X number of dollars out of the capital reserve fund to appropriate towards the project to reduce the borrowing costs on the local taxpayer. So we're hoping that the community will support this reserve, as it functions very similar to the transportation reserve, and it is a way to reduce the local portion associated with borrowing for future facilities work. We have very nice facilities in the district. They are well kept and maintained by our custodial and maintenance department. However, they are aging facilities, and we see the capital reserve as a good way to set aside extra monies to invest in the continued safety and modernization of our school buildings. So on May 17th, we're hoping that the community will come out and vote on a proposition for our operating budget for 22-23, which is a proposed $104.8 million budget. Proposition 2 would be the purchase of the buses through the Transportation Reserve at an amount of $752,468. Proposition 3 would be the establishment of the capital reserve, which are the monies we want to set aside to reduce the local share of future school construction projects. And we have 3 vacant Board of Education seats that are up for election. And we have 3 members of the community who are seeking those seats. Jennifer O'Brien, who is currently an incumbent board member, Michelle Skomersky, who is also an incumbent board member, and Emily Steinbeck, who is a member of the community and a parent in the district. So 3 board seats, 3 people running for the board: Jennifer O'Brien, Michelle Skomersky, and Emily Steinbeck. And we're hoping that everyone comes out on May 17th to exercise your right to vote. With that,
Still muted, Jeff.
I believe you're muted.
I said with that, I will take any questions or concerns that anyone might have. I'm not sure if there's anybody else on the stream, but I'll ask Wayne Morrow if we have anybody else on the stream. I think we only have one person.
Yeah, there's one person on the stream, but they can't ask questions.
Okay. So I would, in closing, I would say that if anyone has any questions, concerns, ideas related to our school district, or regarding the budget, you certainly can reach out to my office, call my office. You can also send me an email, and we'd be happy to be as responsive as we can be. So with that, I thank everybody for participating, and I think Mr. Buno might have either a question or a comment.
Just a comment, Jeff. Thank you for the presentation. I just want to thank the work of our PTOs and our volunteers. We recognize a few of those folks at our last meeting. The board is pleased to present another budget that is very solid with a 0% tax levy. And I want to thank the staff and administration and Mr. Simons, Ms. Wager, and the team for putting together such a solid budget. It really addresses the students' and families' needs, and supports our programs and maintaining programs. And also what's important to us is opportunities for students and kids. You know, coming out of COVID, there were many challenges. We went through a lot of things. And I think with the support of our communities, we're kind of entering a different normal. And we really appreciate the support we've always received in the past. There's been some challenges, like I said, but I think that with this budget, what it addresses for our community, we really hope we can get the community support for what we're trying to accomplish as a school district. You know, and in addition, you know, we were very careful about our use of the federal funds that we had for the last couple of years, and going forward to, again, support students as they returned to school, and also to the programs that would support their mental health and social emotional well-being. And as a side note too, this year we did receive pre-K funds like we did last year, and that continues to grow. And we are really pleased to offer a pre-K program to our families and our community that support our early learners. So as they transition into kindergarten the following year, we can better support them. And it's just great to be able to have those resources to provide that opportunity. So thanks again for everyone's support, and I hope you can support the budget and the propositions that are on the ballot in a couple weeks. So that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Buno. Anyone else? Okay. At this time, I'll conclude the meeting. Again, thanks, everybody. Don't forget to come out and vote on May 17th. There will be future presentations, and we'll make sure that this presentation is recorded and posted on our website. Thanks, everybody, and have a great evening.